Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make some kind of a creepy looking monster um, that I'm often making. I should have a couple of examples on the screen right here. If not, then whatever. So I'm just going to show you my process of making it. So obviously start off with cube. I don't like to delete the default cube because default cube lives matter. I don't know what to do right now, so I'm just whenever I make these weird little creatures, I often go into it not knowing what I'm gonna make. Sometimes I have an idea, but oftentimes I just wing it basically. Let's see. I have no idea what's kind of looks like Majin Buu, doesn't it? Just noticing if this was the head. Yeah, from Dragon Ball Z. So I'm gonna have to do something to change that. Circle. Let's see. Symmetrize. Let's go into move shader and just do a subdivision surface just to see how it will look. I'm not liking the way that it looks at the end there. It looks like a machine more than a living thing. So let's just bring them out a little bit further. I don't like how far they are either. But that's where the eyes are gonna be. So let's just bring them a little closer in. Maybe rotate just a little. Maybe not. Okay. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like something I can use. Okay. And the body doesn't have to follow any rules, dude. It could look humanoid, but oftentimes the way to make it look creepy is to make it look familiar while also being totally different. Right? Like you make something that looks, for example, like a human being while making it not a human being at all, like my Pac-Man for an example. It's basically just a sphere with it's like a 3D pie that's cut out. That's what, and then you sculpt in a bunch of human details into it. Right? And the fact that it looks kind of like a human, while not being a human, obviously, is what makes it look kind of creepy, and that's the point of a lot of these that I make. So I'm just going to give him almost a humanoid body, but maybe he's not going to have any arms or something. Or maybe if he does, they're not going to be in the right place. Right? And then maybe we make it like a snake body or something like that. That'd be fine. Oh, snake body. Yeah, that'll look kind of nice and weird. And we can just do that just to, then we downsize the ends there just to make it look. Alright. Okay, and then we start working on the mouth. We have a fairly decent thing to work with here for a mouth. Just hit inset, Incest? I'm immature. And I hit inset, and then you just move it around a little bit. Symmetrize, there we go. After I'm done with all the sculpting and everything, I'll just use the mirror modifier, but not there yet. Oops. I know that's. I'll get to the eyes in a second. I'm gonna give the inside of the mouth a bit of a. That's a little too big. Obviously, it's showing through the thing. There we go. Okay, let's see what that looks like. I mean, it doesn't look like something I can use at the moment, but it's clearly a mouth. I'll sculpt into it later to make it look like an actual mouth, but time being, we're going to start working on the nose. Should I say the eyes? Why did I say the nose? Okay, there we go. Let's make this as flat as possible. And then that's Z. Scale it. And then we'll use a subdivision thingamajigger. Then we could use loop tools to make it a circle. And then do the whole scaling thing again. And set there. And then just take it back. Right. Don't worry about the weirdness around the edges there. That can all be sculpted out afterwards. Time being, I'm just gonna put a quick eyeball in there. So, not circle. What am I thinking? The UV sphere. Alright. Bring it out. R90. Just select the first two rings or whatever you call that there. Then you go into this. You hit S and Y. 0. There we go. That flattens it out. Makes it look like a nice eye shape. Scale it down a bit. And we'll move it to where we need it to go. That's yeah. Okay. Trying to figure out exactly. Alright. So then because of that I can just maybe I moved it over like this. Okay, and then we'll select the last color. Because I want the eyelids and what have you to sort of form around the eye. In regards to the shape. So there we go. Looks a bit better. And then we're gonna go to here, 3D cursor, Alt D, SX, -1. There we go, the eyes are taken care of. Now if I go here, view, check from view, there we go. That way when I actually put some eye texture in there, it'll actually work the way I want it to. I did say that these are going to be for the eyes. I guess I changed my mind. I could have made them for the eyes like a hammerhead shark or like the Radica from Star Wars. But I decided not to. Probably because I forgot what I was doing with them. Let's go back to median point. Okay. So I'm just gonna turn these into his ears. Scale it down a little. The inset button a little bit. Move it in. Actually, flatten it out and then move it in. And just, yeah, maybe that'll work. Uh, that looks very weird. Now that I think about it, those could have been mouths. Could have made those mouths, yeah, like, Well, that would have been really awkward. I think I'm going to keep them the way they are. Maybe I'll sculpt them, make them look a little bit different still, but overall I'm going to keep them ears, is what I mean. Move this out a bit further, I think. Be good. Move this in a bit. Maybe I could put it at an angle. It looks kind of like weirder than what I like. Doesn't look normal, like natural. I mean, these could have also been like arms or something too if I wanted to make them that. Could have made them like fists on the ends of them or something. That actually looks not too bad for the time being. Now we're going to work on the nose. Okay, let's just subdivide that. There we go. And we can already see the lines that we're going to need right here for the detail on the mouth and what have you, or above it, should I say. Move this downward a little bit. See, I'll just in just a tiny bit there. No. Only faces and go. We'll see how that looks so far. I don't think it actually does that on the human face, so in order to make it have that human connection when you look at it, you want to make it look somewhat like a human. So maybe I could just delete that verse actually. I guess that looks horrible. So maybe bring it out just a little. I don't know. Maybe dissolve that edge sometimes. Oh no matter, I could sculpt it to make it look a little bit better later on anyway. So I'm gonna subdivide that there. Let's flatten these bits out. Almost looks like a Dr. Seuss character at the moment. Not in a good way. Let's do 5-4 revision. It's coming together. Okay. Yeah, we gotta give him some nostrils. Right. I have this teeth asset right here. And now I'm going to scale it down and try to put it in his mouth somewhere. Obviously I need a chin on this guy, which I was planning on creating from the start really. Just didn't get around to it. It looks strange with teeth already. See, try to get every little. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna try to even out the Root position there to make it a little easier to model. There we go. That's already looking funny. Alright. Let's see. Maybe I'll scale it up just a little bit more there. Teeth. I think we're better off just scaling the whole thing, this whole part of the inside of the mouth up a bit. Maybe not out like that. I think that's good enough. Nobody's going to notice it too much. Alright, so we've got some eyes, some ears, a nose, and a mouth. I'm trying to think, should he have arms or shouldn't he? Maybe I should give him like a couple sets of arms. Just going on the x-axis there. Circle and that. And do the same for the thing down here as well. Do a circle. Scale that way down and rotate as needed. Doesn't have to have like humanoid or human hands. You can always just give them like you know, pretty much anything. You can give them crab legs for all you care. It's fine, you know. You don't have to make it look exactly like a human. At least not for what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make something for a movie. I'm just trying to make something like some kind of abstract creature just for a Facebook post. So, you know, for those standards, I think it ought to be fine to just like go and do whatever. He's gonna have like some spiky sort of limbs. Gonna have a smaller set of spiky limbs down here. Sometimes I do go through and actually give him a full, like almost human-like type of arms and hands and everything. But on this guy, I don't think that doing so is needed. And I'm not trying to make him look completely humanoid, so synchronize. Now he looks kind of like a crab snake person or something. When I get just the way he's sprawled out like that, it's kind of funny. But once I start getting into sculpting, you know, it's gonna look a bit crazier. already with only subdivisions of 2 subdivisions. It's already have 18,000 vertices, over 18,000. It does look like it's about ready to get to sculpting a bit. I might change the shape of the mouth just a tiny bit. I might make it go back just a wee bit, or maybe I should take the teeth and what have you a little bit more forward. I don't know. Give his chin a bit. I guess chin go out a bit further, maybe. At least the vertices before I start sculpt. Can't think of much else to do with it. So I think I'm just gonna go. I think I'm ready for sculpting. So now, what I often do is I turn the subdivisions up to about 4, or until there's over 100,000 vertices. If we turn it up to 5, it would be better, but there's a lot more to work with there, and it's a bit harder on my computer and so forth. Depends on what I want. I can get more detail out of it that way, though. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and apply the modifier at 640,000, almost 641,000 vertices there. Then I'm just going to go into sculpt mode. Oh boy. And we'll see. Usually I stick with the clay sculpting tool. You know, clay, smooth, and there's a couple others that I sometimes use as well. But for the most part, it's just these. I think I put the clay up too much. It's usually fine for if I'm sculpting muscles, but not so much with face detail. So give them some actual lips. Add a filtrum. Down here with these things. Smooth. Smooth it all out just to make it look a little nicer. It's just with all this over it. No, that took it too far. Okay. Let's actually give him a real chin. I need one of those to make him pass off as something creepy, like human-like. Jawline. Yeah, whatever. Just give it a little extra depth there. Smooth modifier. or sculptor, should I say? Modified, not modifiers. Well, his eyes are so far up on his head, it's almost more like a Neanderthal than a human. Than a Homo sapien, should I say. Because humans have scrunched faces. Neanderthal and Denisovan had really tall faces, so that's kind of interesting. Why my monsters often look like a Neanderthal with a tall face like that. Just adding some cheek definition there. I could add a little bit of cheek to it. There you go. Put on a real cheek. Oh shit. Let's smooth that out a little bit. Okay. Now for the nose. Again, it doesn't have to look perfectly human. I really hate the way that where I'm sculpting, it always comes out looking like that. On the nose, where there's nostrils involved. I'll have to get it back in there with a smooth tool or something to fix it out. But let's give some definition of the nose a bit there. And then we're going to have to give some brow ridges. Alright, just above the eyes, above the eyelids there. Trying to make them look as human as possible without fully going there. Alright. Now let's smooth all that crap out, because I don't know why it does that. It must be a glitch with Blender. Maybe I'll report it to them or something. I think someone else already has, actually. So they might be working on it right now. They might be actively working on it. But there's a sort of human face sort of going on there. There's a couple extra details I could add to it to make it look a little better. Like this line here can come down here. And then give them a sort of cleft chin. And just increase the exaggeration of the lip there, just to make it look like, hey, it's a. That way, when you look at it, it's like, oh, hey, that's a lip going on there. And then what we could do further, smooth. I could use a bit of a smoother right here, maybe. But you can go into minus clay mode. No, let's not use clay. Let's use. Trying to look for crease. That'll work well here. Must be the crappy topography that it did. In this part, let's use smooth. I didn't spend a lot of time trying to make the best when I was modeling it. I just wanted to make it good enough. So oftentimes I'll go in there and see, it'll allow me to put some wrinkles by his face to make it look a little bit better. And sometimes it can actually look fairly decent and convincing. Here it's looking kind of weird. But I'll try. Just basically putting the wrinkles for the eyelids on it. And that looks very weird, so I'm going to smooth that out so it doesn't look almost pervy. You know, that's best for the wrinkles that I'm going to be able to get with the topography that or topology. Why do I keep saying topography? That's for like geography and land. Topology is the word that I'm looking for there. Yeah, the topology isn't isn't too great for little details like that, so I might just go ahead and smooth it out. Maybe I'll just put a ring around the eye or something. Yeah, something like that might work. Let's try to make it look a little bit realistic still. Yeah, okay. Add some no. Let's smooth that out because I'm not convinced that looks good the way it is there. Trying to get the abdomen or those, chest pecs there to look right has always been a challenge for me. Now I've looked at references of bodybuilders and of just normal people that are kind of more fit than I am. And it's still kind of difficult for me to get it right. But I am getting a little better with it. I've looked at older versions where I've tried and I am improving a little bit. And because there are two sets of arms here, I think I'm going to go ahead and give them a second layer of text there. Okay. Now we're going to have to get into smooth mode and then get in there. Really sort of. there. That looks a little better, a little more defined, finding it a little bit. Maybe I could give them like standard armpit type thing going on there. And down here as well. Making it look a little human while not being fully human. Goes a long way to making it look slightly off-putting when you look at it. Which is the point. Smooth again. Yeah, I think that looks fine, I guess. It's not perfect, but it's fine. Now for the arm muscles, which is also kind of difficult. Let's see, first we can try to get the shoulder muscles going on there. Maybe we'll give some shoulder muscles. And the shoulder muscles will come down. And then we can give them some nice actual arm muscles there. Get closer, so I have more control of what I'm doing. Then add a bottom muscle there. Maybe some muscles in the back, I don't know. I don't really think things work that way in real biology or anatomy, should I say. Alright, see what we can do with probably just sort of yeah, that looks passable for what I'm trying to go for. Not passable for like Hollywood movie or anything, but passable just to creep people out on Facebook. Just looking at the whole thing. Okay, and we can just add some layers of like muscle down here, and then down here, over here. And because of the way that the arm is bent, that would mean that this would need an elbow. So we're going to give him an elbow. Which includes both the outer part and the inner part. So and use a smooth tool there. That looks good enough, I suppose. Now when you're looking at, like, when it comes to most humanoids, when you're working on the front and the chest, everything kind of goes in like a V position. Like there's usually like an upside down U, almost like an A, and then you want to get everything down here like in a V position. But on the back, it's usually the opposite. You want to get it in like an A position, like an upside down V, right? So that's what I've noticed when you're trying to sculpt the back, but we're not there yet. We're gonna still have to sculpt some of these lower arms here. Let's try to give them some obvious muscle definition there. When I go to rig this thing, I'm probably gonna make this the main. Probably gonna make these the main legs, and it's probably just gonna be a tail or something. I should have thought about it through a little bit further, but I never do though. I often just wing it when I'm making my creatures. It comes about kind of looking nicer in some ways that way than if I go into it with a drawing and a preconceived notion of what I'm trying to make. Which I do that sometimes too, but not always. Not usually. Alright, there's not a separate defined muscle in that, so let me go ahead and sculpt this separate. And again, we're going to need that elbow. Right. Elbow or kneecap, whatever you want to call it. Okay. That looks fine enough. That face. That's a funny face. I'm happy with it. Maybe though. I'm just saying what would happen if I kind of had some like indents into this part of it and then just hit smooth, what have you. Nope. I want to take a look at detail of the actual jawline. Kind of add more detail to the cheeks, more depth, should I say, like make them come out a little more, make them more pronounced. Still got it. That's too pronounced. Yeah, that looks okay, I guess. Let's just attach the chin to the jawline a bit more. There's one other thing that you could do to make it a little more realistic here, and that's adding these little things in here. I don't think I attached them right. Yeah. Add these little things here. No, I think I touched them more I thought it was the first time. I think. I'm not gonna Google it, so I'll just keep guessing until it looks good. I would have put this thing somewhere. Maybe it would be here. Smooth. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks kind of a bit better. And we'll just give some definition here on some more detail. I mean, there we go. That's the shoulder muscles, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, everything here has got to be like kind of in an A position, A shape. This isn't really a humanoid exactly, so it's hard to tell exactly where everything should go. There's no butt here. There's well, there's one thing I know you're supposed to do. That's add a crease in the back. Because humans actually have that. So do a lot of animals too. It's not as defined as ours. But I know if you get like a dog leaning up against a fence, it's like a really strong dog, he'll have many of these same his anatomy will look very similar to ours. It's kind of weird when you really think about it. I suppose I could do the same for the bottom one too, just like I did with the chest or whatever. I'm not sure how accurate this looks. I don't think it looks accurate at all. Trying to think. Shoulder blades, kind of. Yeah, something like that, maybe. That looks like chipped out of the way, it bulges out like that. I'd be scared if something were bulging out like that in real life. That's what I'd be. But I think the chest looks a bit flat though. A bit more flatter than I'd like. So I'll just have chests, multiple chests. Yeah, that looks a little better. And for the actual it's really difficult to see any kind of muscle in a snake. So I'm just gonna add random details. Like snakes are actually usually pretty smooth, except for their scales. It's a bit harder to see any kind of muscle going on. in them, so I'm just gonna add random details here, just to make it look not so smooth and boring. Um, yeah, that doesn't look too horrible, I suppose. Um, Smooth it out a little bit. I think that's wrong with smoothing it out just a little. Same deal with the crease I put in the back. Just smooth it out just a little, just to make it look like it's not been, yeah. Hmm. And let's see, use crease here. Hmm. Are working with a higher poly model, I could probably do this a lot better. Or if I had dynamic topology on, I could probably make it look a little better too. But that's fine. It's not like you're gonna be looking at this part of the model all that much, so that's fine. Fine for it to not be perfect. That doesn't look that bad. So, maybe I could add some extra details on the top part of the head. No, this is Pat. I'm not a Krusty Krab. Um, the way those creases are, it almost looks like it's a finger or something. It's really funny. Oh, I'm not gonna make it a finger. These are ears. I'm just gonna add some extra details on the back here, just to, I don't know, make it not look so smooth and weird. because I wouldn't want it to look weird. But I want it to actually look like it's a living thing. You know what I mean? I'll just add some extra little details. Just wherever I see a place that looks like it's lacking in detail, I'll try to do something to add some detail to it, just to make it look a little bit nicer. See, now it's kind of coming together. It's got some extra details going on in there. Yeah. Just gonna add some extra little details on the ears. Just trying to smooth out where it looked like it was. Add a crease to where the ears are connected to the head there. Here we can add some extra little crease details surrounding the ear, maybe. Maybe we could use the grab tool and just sort of shape it a little better. Smooth all that out, I think, again. Let's see. I think the sculpting looks decent. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it doesn't look too bad. I think I could add a little extra. Little thing right there. There we go. But I think it looks pretty fine. I want it to look like it's intelligent, so maybe I'll give him a bigger Bit of a head in the back there. Smooth it out. Now, that works. And so there's my sculpting. And now I think what we ought to do is trying to think of anything else I might need to do to it before I start working on other things. I think sculpting is maybe I can minus it right here a little bit. Oh. Yeah, that makes it look a little better. A little. I think my sculpting is done. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into layout. And we're going to scale it down a little bit so that I can work with it when I'm looking through the camera and what have you. Object set origin to geometry. It's probably better that one. Okay. So now, like, this is too many polys to actually rig or texture with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this monster high poly. I'm going to copy it by pressing Shift D. This will be called monster low poly. So I'm going to hide the monster high poly or monster low poly. I'm going to go into the decimate modifier, and sometimes I do it by just using the collapse button. In this case, though, I'm going to use the unsubdivide button. Right? It's down to 324,000 polys. And basically just do it until the detail starts to go away. Right? And to the point where it starts looking jagged. That's actually when you've gone a little too far, when it starts completely deforming the basic shape of your creature. Right, we're down to 48,000 polys, or vertices, should I say. I don't know, being close to 50,000 is still a bit much. So let's try taking it down just a little bit more, if possible, without fucking it up. See, when you start looking like that, that's because when I'm doing this, it seems to want to go into yeah, you see like a diamond sort of diagonal shape. So if I take it down to 6, it'll even itself back out. Right, so that's 18,000 vertices. That's actually what we started off with, I think. And hasn't messed with the shape of anything too badly here. I can still see most of the details, even if only slight. They're not as pronounced as they were. The lips are gone. But I might be able to still work with it. So let's hit apply. Okay. Now we're going to go into cycles. We're going to go into bake real quick. This is going to be normal. Select to active. And 0.01 is usually good. Sometimes I have to have one normal map be 0.01 and then have another at 0.1, and then I'll take them into GIMP because sometimes it doesn't always come out the way you want. But one of the normal maps will have a bunch of red crap in some spots, and then the other normal map will have that fix in those spots, but have problems in the other one, in other places. So I'll basically combine the two normal maps to fix that. I could, of course, fix it by doing a proper UV unwrap, but I don't much feel like doing that because it just takes too long. So now what we're going to go do is go into shader editor, and I hate the thing that pops up. Shift A, texture, image texture, new, just asterisk for, I think that's an asterisk, multiply symbol anyway, that's what it's being used for. Let's unhide the shader editor. This will be called normal. Okay, back to UV editor, select monster high poly, and then select low poly. There we go. And then let's see, normal. And now we will hit the bake button. And we wait. And I crack my neck. I didn't unwrap it properly. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this so that if it wants to crash, I'll have the backup. Grab man. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I forgot to do a couple of things to it first. Let's move this out of the way. Let's focus on monster low poly. Deletes everything on this half. Just going over it real quick, make sure it's all nice and even. Looks to be. So now, I hit the mirror modifier, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Exit the. And now, I'm going to have to. That is the weirdest looking shape ever. Almost looks like a spaceship. Now, I'm gonna have to Smart UV project. I'll take the island margin up to 9. Okay. Let's go over this real quick. Make sure there's nothing overlapping, because I hate when I see overlapping things in Smart UV project. It ruins it. Like, you try to texture one thing and then all of a sudden something else somewhere else is being textured. It's like, why are you doing that? I hate that. Everything looks fairly decent so far. I haven't seen anything that looks like it's overlapping. Alright. So now let's try it again. Yikes. So what that means is maybe I'll try it at 0.1 instead. That is unusable. That is way better. It's not perfect. Still a couple of those things in here that I might have to just go into GIMP and get rid of, but I'm gonna go ahead and save this as normal one. Now what happens if I take this down to 0.05 and then I decide to bake it? Now if it's getting progressively worse the further down I go. So maybe if I do like say 0.5 something, maybe if I go a little higher up, maybe it'll be better than 0.1. You'll see. Uh, there are some parts of it that are certainly better, and a few parts that are worse, so I'll work with these. I'll save it as 2. Okay, so I have created a images together. It's workable. I can hide the high quality version for now. I could probably delete it if I wanted to. I'm not going to use it again. Normal map. Keep it on tangent space. Move this here. And now, if it loads, you can see it has all the detail while being low poly. It's because I'm using a normal map. It's just sort of baked on there. It's using textures to sort of fake shadows and other details like that, without it actually being part of the model itself. Which is a really good trick for if you're not wanting to waste a million years worth of time to render something, but you still want to have some nice detail. Now it's time to texture, and because it looks like it has a humanoid face, this means it's going to need human skin, which is why it's going to make it look horrible. And I mean that in a good way, like it's going to look like a horrifying, almost human creature without being human, and it's going to be perfect. Yeah, this will be skin texture. Okay. But first, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to give you a taste. I'm going to take it into back into Eevee because it renders like instantly. I don't like the position of that light there. Let's see. Take the light down a little bit. Let's get a good camera position on him too. Rotate it. Move in just a little. Get down just a little. Move up. There we go. That's a good camera position. Now let's add some proper scene lights. Well, I don't know if it's proper, but it's adequate. So you often have one close to him, one sort of further away, one behind him, and then one above. Right? Okay, so now that we got some scene lights, we're going to change the color of this guy to a sort of peachish color, and the subsurface color is going to be a sort of pinkish color. Now we're going to take subsurface up to 0.8. Maybe make it a little less pink, like a little more pale. But yeah, exactly. Now you can see exactly what I'm going for with that skin sort of shader. Very basic skin shader. It looks kinda creepy. I love it. I think the position of the teeth got moved a little bit. Well, not moved, but like the position of the mouth did. So I'm just going to move the teeth down just a little bit. There we go. Doesn't make him look any less better or worse. It just makes him look a little bit more, I don't know. Like when you're looking directly at him, it looks kind of funny. I'm going to texture his eyes before I do anything. Texture, image texture, open, eye textures, this is a good one. I'm just going to go to UV editor. That works. Still these textures from another project that I downloaded from, I don't know, some Blender file or something. Not bad though. Free textures, so free textures for a free model. I don't think they'll get mad at me for using it as long as I give them credit for the textures. And so far, I don't like the way that looks. I think maybe make the, yeah, that looks a little better. Gives me the creeps just looking at this thing. Which is good. It's what I'm going for. But now we're going to go into texture paint. Get rid of this. New, open, skin textures. Got a bunch of them. Okay. So now you're just going to texture paint. Maybe we could, there we go. Actually, time being, I'm going to fill. There we go. Now we can go back to painting. I'm going to turn off the mirror modifier. This way when I get to painting in the mouth, I can do it quickly. Yeah. Okay. So just giving it a basic skin color, slightly orange, so I guess it's a Donald Trump skin color, but I think Trump is a human, so maybe he's got a bunch of spray on tan, I don't know. I'm probably just going to give it a nice consistent sort of color all around. Sometimes I'll use different colors, but in this case I'm just going to keep it the same color, the same texture, same all the way around, and the little bits of texture or color variation will be done with the subsurface bit of the shader. Then when I create a different texture for that too, which will mostly just be solid colors. I had no idea how long I've been working on this thing. I think it's only been a couple hours though. Just a couple hours I can poop out a weird creature like this, which is good. Doesn't take long to create something that's just kinda funny and creepy at the same time. If I were trying to make something more professional, for some reason, of course I'd spend more time on it, but in this case I think, a lot of times I just spend like a couple hours on something and call it good. I'm not selling my stuff or anything, it's just for, mostly just to entertain myself, it's a hobby, that's it. Yeah, duct paint in the face, my head. Maybe I'll put eyebrows on them, maybe I won't, I don't know. Maybe, the inside of the mouth, I'm going to use a different texture entirely, of course. I'm going to use, actually made from my foreskin. I'm not even joking. Yes, you did need to know that. Find good textures in the weirdest of places. Okay then. Just fix this up, and I hope that was just because of the angle of the viewport and not so much the unwrapping. Okay, still looks all good in there. That's good. Okay. Okay. Well, there's the that looks kind of nasty. So take this down to maybe 0.5 in this case. See what happens. Ah, screw it. I want to unwrap it. I have to actually go in and unwrap it individually. Like just hit edit mode. Maybe I'll do that. But hold on. There's one thing. The ears have to be fixed there. And there we are. Oh shit. Make sure nothing else got affected. Okay. So far then, I'm going to go ahead and go into UV editing. I'll hit image pack. Okay, now I'm going to go and unwrap the inside of the nostril so I can properly texture it. Okay. There we go. I fixed all that problem. Alright, that's often what I have to do if something is overlapping. When I use Smart UV Project, I have to go in and individually unwrap that little spot of something I'm trying to texture. And it usually works too, and I never really have a problem with it. Now, what I want to do here is I'm just going to text it inside the eye socket as well. Just don't want to leave anything behind, really. I like being thorough. Zoom out. Get look. Yeah, there we go. It looks kind of. Okay, so image and save. Shader editor. Texture, image texture. Let's add a new one. This will be called subsurf. And this is not going to use any texture. It's going to use flat solid colors, as I've said before. Okay. For some reason it kind of glitches and I have to do that every once in a while. Alright. So now I'm going to go and create a little sort of a pinkish color and take down the strengths. Well, first I'm going to paint the inside of the mouth again with red or pinkish red or whatever. Just do this quickly. There we go. Inside of them. I hate it when that kind of crap happens. Oh well. I'll fix it. C flat. And we'll just paint over it. And there we go. Now to get that nice pink color back. Yeah, well, not yet. There's a couple of pink spots that shouldn't be pink. Alright. Now, pink color back. And go back to studio. Paint the inside of the nose nice and pink. As well as the inside of the eye socket. And the ear as well. I'll get to that though. Maybe even put some pink on the outer edges. I don't know. Maybe. Looks curvy again. Slightly anyway. That's fine though. It's gonna have an eyeball in there, so most people aren't gonna think about it that way. Yeah, paint the ear. Gotta have pink side of the ear there. And I guess about this, all that can be done is give it a separate unwrap, I guess. Well, that's the main stuff. Now let's take a look at the lips here. Yeah, let's see here. So Now for some cheeks. All over the cheek colors. Maybe set to 0.1. I don't like the fact that it's set to 0.1, so I'm going to set that to 0.5. I think that looks fairly decent. Image save. And I'm going to go back to this texture again. Texture paint, because there's that black spot right there. And here we go. Just color it right in with full strength. That's a little more orangey down there, so we can just probably color the there, I know you're a bit more orange, just to give it a little bit of extra, like a bit of an extra little coloring going on. Make it look a little different. Yeah, that looks fine enough. Oops. It's not what I wanted to. Hold on, did it? Hit save. No, I gotta save it before I go back to the other one. Alright. Then at the ends of the legs, I think they're gonna be pink. Just because. No reason. Just because. Yeah, the end of the tip be pink too. No reason again, just because. And so there we go. Now we're gonna go and actually put the thing together. Get those teeth back shining and showing. And then we're going to connect these textures. And doesn't look half bad. Doesn't look half bad at all. What we're gonna do now to give more of a sort of skin color, skin impression, we're going to go into Converter, Color Ramp. First we're going to turn the subsurface all the way down, which gives them a nice orange color, but it's not what we're after here. Plug that into the base color. Okay, let's see. Just trying to adjust. And probably good enough. Let's see, vector bump. The longest time I didn't know that you could plug the normal map into the bump map. So I was just kind of hopeless with trying to make realistic sort of skin textures and other materials. But now I can I realize I can just use plug one into the other and it'll look fine. That's still a little too much. Point oh, I don't know, 5. I also plug this into the roughness as well. I don't know. What does that look like so far? Turn off normal for 2 seconds. Unplug it. Ugh. There we go. I think it looks better with the white on the left side and the black on the right. Because yeah, now that's actually sort of proper with where the alt map and the normals and the roughness is supposed to kind of go together. Okay, so I think that looks a bit better. Plug in the normal. And then we oops. Overall, I'd say that looks not too shabby. I don't know why Eevee has this problem of rendering these sort of black sections from the unused sections of the of the texture map. I'm gonna see if it keeps it that way when I actually render the image normally, real quick. If so, then I'll just have to render it in cycles. The cycles doesn't have this problem. What the fuck? Um, Okay, so if you didn't see that, it literally glitched. Like, this was the result right here. And I'm not exactly sure why it looks like that. It looks like looks like it just completely unwrapped my unwrapping basically and did its own unwrapping. That is weird. Let's see what happens when I do it in cycles real quick. I'm going to take it to about 20 samples and 25% performance 16 by 16 posted off. So run it there, see what happens. It's happening with cycles too. Those of you that didn't see that, it happened with cycles too, and I have no idea why. We'll go ahead and save this. Save. Oh, it's trying to render the high poly monster. That's what it is. Forgot to delete him. I'm not going to use him again. Delete. Now let's put it into Eevee mode. And let's render that bitch. That works. Okay, so now that I figured all that out, I guess the only thing left to do is rig it. And I did figure out that with Eevee, the actual render will still have those black lines in it. So that means I'll be rendering it with cycles. It's fine. Turn the sample rate back up to 128. I know I can use the compositor for the denoiser, but I'll just click this button, it's easier and quicker. So that when I go to actually render it, it'll be fine. So I hit Shift A to hit armature. Go to this little thingy here. Viewport visibility and in front. Sounds good. Tab. Okay. It's easy. Okay. See, there's the head. Okay. I'll rig the face real quick. This seems like it's going to be a real quick and easy rig job. Don't usually say that, but in this case, I think it's going to be. It's got to. The bottom jaw is always going to be a bit tricky to get right, so I'll just hold on. It's Okay, the gel line actually is right there, so that's where it stops. So I'll just have it right there then. Okay. I don't know how well that's going to work when I actually go to rig it, but okay, let's see. I'll just keep offset, take it back into studio mode or whatever you call it. Add a few more rigs, or should I say armature thingies. One for the lower lip, one for the upper. One for the corner of the mouth. I always like having them stick out just a little bit, that way I know that it's gonna do something properly. Yep. And then I'm gonna have to have another one right up here. At this, I'm just doing a very simple rigging. I'm not gonna do super complicated stuff. Just enough to be able to get them to smile or frown or whatever, or to close his creepy ass mouth. So you're gonna need two up here. Yeah, I think this one needs to be higher. And we just have a few around the eyes. Okay. There we go. That way I can see all of the things. Now we're going to rig tail. Actually, I was about to rig the arms, but I'm gonna rig the tail before I rig those. Rigify. So it makes no sense to rig it when they're rig them on the section that looks like they went to joints or something. Yeah, looks still better. Okay. Okay, that's about decent. I know they're not even or anything. There we go. Yeah, that looks fine enough. Okay, now rig up these arms. Arm issue. It's actually not too horrible in and of itself. To the joint right there. And now we're gonna have another one right here, just because. Mostly because it'll be easier to control when I cable that way. Okay. Now to move them into place, which should actually be easy. There we go, good enough. Okay. Now we have to Alt P, clear parent. Alt P, clear parent. And in this case, I'll deselect the form. Sometimes I keep it there, like to control the heal or something. But in this case, I'm just going to deselect it. And then I think this is how you do it this way, so I'm just going to go to close mode just to make sure. Yep, okay. So go back to edit mode. Good enough. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're going to start to name these bones. So let's see, arm, or upper arm.r, lower arm.r, oop, not that 3, idiot, r, your little fingers, what the hell are you trying to form? Hand, r, because it will, and then this will be rmik, that r. And then for this will be upper leg.r, lower leg.r, leg ik.r, and foot.r. And I'll have to name some of the face ones too. Arm.r, or no, not arm, what the hell? Lip 1.r, lip 2.r, eye 1.r, eye. You can pretty much name them whatever you want as long as it has a .r at the end. I'm just naming them quickly, that way I know where each one is. Okay, there we go. And then you're gonna wanna go into individual or 3D cursor, Shift D SX -1, armature names, flip names. Now in the older versions, it wouldn't have this 0.001 at the end, but for some reason in 2.8 and on, or even 2.79 has this problem. It adds that, but you have to go through and manually rename it still to an extent, and it's actually quite annoying. It doesn't do it automatically like it once did. I'll have to figure out how to actually get that to work properly again, the naming. Well, that works. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into pose mode. We're going to go into inverse kinematics. And chain length 2. Always good to specify this too. You should probably make sure to do that. There we go. The schematics. Oops. There we go. And now we are ready to automatic lights. Should be closable now. Except a couple other things I want to do first. Bone relative, there we go. Just posing the parenting the teeth to the bones, the jaw bones there. And then the gums, of course, are not parented to. So I'm gonna actually with automatic weights those. Okay. So now we're gonna go into pose mode, and we're just gonna see how it functions. First, I'm gonna hide this so I can see what I'm doing. Give them a nice smile. Probably deselect these and give them the same smile. There we go. It works just the same. I could probably I hate that. Anyway, what's going on there? That was weird. Anyway, alright. Got the mouth looking a little bit better. Now, how am I gonna pose? Let's see exactly what I'm gonna do. Let's see, I could tip it. Maybe. Like doing push-ups or something. Individual organs, that way each one kind of, sort of. Okay, and then we can select the individual hands, if you want to call them that. Alright. Yeah, that actually kind of really creepy. The way it's all sprawled out like that now. That looks awesome. And then we're gonna I guess I forgot to parent these to the main head bone, which is something you should never forget to do, like I did. He's got no teeth. um, Alright, I'm back into pose mode. Yeah, shit, what the fuck? Well, I guess I can fix that by just doing this. There we go. And then do it all over again. I don't know why I did that, but okay. Because I've got an individual origin. So let's go put it back on medium point. Get a nice sort of angle, nice creepy angle that would be just like the hands are right now. I'll have to fix the mouth and everything again later. Okay. That's actually very creepy. I love it. I mean, it's creeping me out looking at it. I love that. Apparently, I didn't select all of the ones up here to. Yeah, hopefully. There we go. Try to get it looking as straight as possible. Looking. There we go. That way I can work on his mouth again. Alright. Make him smile. Make the corners of his mouth go back a bit more. Um, 0, 1. That's not too bad. And then just to give it a little bit of like it's moving, just give him a little bit of a movement. A little bit of a, there we go, like he's walking. And then maybe this egg sac tailed or whatever the hell it is. Maybe I can make it kind of. There we go. Now that is a creepy monster thing. Turn off armature. Let's take a look at it maybe for a second or two. Put it in that pose. We're gonna save this and render. Oh man, that is creepy, and in a good way. Oh man, I love what I created right there. That's quite awesome. Alright, let's take a look at it in cycles menu. Yeah, it takes forever to render in cycles. Well, with that being said, I'm just going to turn this over to black. Make sure that there's enough lighting still for it to look right. Seems to be. That's good. Maybe take these down just a little bit. You know, in position, I mean. Okay, save that. Take a look. That is awesome. Okay, here you are. That's quite awesome. Well, it's been fun. This is my entire process of making a weird creature. Only takes me a couple of hours to do, and the results are decent enough. So, yeah. Enjoy.